So with how quickly NA is like already starting the year, like Case Files is like gonna start tomorrow. Like, and I thought we'd have at least another like few days, but no, we're going right into it. I can firmly say that this unit is a get it if you want, but definitely wait and see how they buffer in the future. And we already know 2 years from now, she hasn't gotten a buff. They literally ghosted her on her getting a buff last October. She was the only servant that had event bonus that didn't get a rate up. If that isn't a slight against Koyanskaya, against the Mikon Empire, I don't know what is. After releasing Draco last year, I guess they just couldn't see the resources to buff a Tamamo. That's crazy. The Umus really have control over LaSagna. Anyway, let's get started talking about Koyanskaya of Darkness. First off, out of the Koyanskayas, this is the one that will put you in a cage. This is the one that will whip you. This is the one that will cut your balls off because you got too frisky. Yeah, no, I'm not into that. I'm a gacha player, but I'm not that much of a masochist. I will say I really do like this Ascension. My friend who doesn't play FGO, I showed him like Koyanskaya just because I wanted to show like what servant I failed at getting. He said she looked like super Inuyasha. Like her design, like just how they portrayed like priestesses and demons in Inuyasha, like she fits like at least this Ascension. She is like a mix of that art style, or she has those attributes. I'm inclined to agree, but I haven't watched Inuyasha or Yasahime, or Yashuhime. I can't even remember. I haven't watched that in a couple years, so my memory's not all the way there, but I definitely see it, especially like the white priestess in bare feet. Or not the bare feet, but like the ropes and everything, the seals. I get why he says it, because he doesn't play he doesn't watch much other bait other than what is out. But back to this actual gameplay. Base attack, it is low, and this is part of the reason everyone has issues with her. She has around the same attack as Muramasa. If you know about Muramasa, you know his base attack is an issue when compared to his competition. Most of them have like 1,000 more attack than him. Pretty much same case with Koyanskaya. She needs like another 1,000 base attack at least. Her damage is supposed to be on par with people hitting like normal class. Maybe turn 1, but not later turns. Definitely not turn 3. Anyone that is fighting their effective class is gonna way out damage Koyanskaya like significantly, and that's part of her issue as a foreigner. She needs to hit harder because she rarely gets class advantage that other classes don't get as well. HP is super high. This unit is super tanky. If you are a new account and you get this unit, she is actually going to be like your boss fight unit for a long time. That's how it was for me until I started farming and having my account like just more built. Like, and when I did this on the alt account, I didn't have Castoria, I didn't have any of the mainline supports, just Waver and Rain. It was just those two, and this unit like fucking carried me. MP charge 0.67%. It really works with these arts cards. Plus, Koyanskaya is supposed to be critting on everything. She is a crit DPS, despite what most people would say. I agree with Plushy. Like, even her MP is buffing her base card damage. That's the main caveat of it, because not like the attack part happens before damage, but not the buster res down. So she wants to be doing face card damage more than she wants to be MP damage, which doesn't fit the current meta that much. She is not a farmer. If you have using her for farming in mind, you are going to be disappointed. Oh yeah, hit counts in general, all average. Quick card is above average, which I like to see on foreigners because I think their quick card should be fantastic if they're gonna have higher star gen than most other classes. First skill, Dominator Fox, AoE 30% battery, AoE 30% buster up. It makes doing multi-core where you're not using Koyanskaya or any other of the mainline supports, you're just using 3 DPSs, it makes that kind of farming far easier. Koyanskaya of Darkness is ahead of her time. She is starting the multi-core meta long before like some of the more popular servants that show up in multi-core like come out or are ready for multi-core. Multi-core is like, especially with all the 90++ that come out next year, it's really only going to start next year when you're going to have to be like fully building multi-core setups. Like you're not just using double Castoria to clear everything. That's not how these giant health bars are going to be working. You're going to be needing to switch up the strategy. 333, not the move. It will not be the move. And if you only do 333, you're going to have a bad time. Farming with Koyanskaya of Dark and just like unloading buster MPs without trying to like double loop, you get way less damage. That is a fact. But the higher your MP copies of your farming units, the more damage you get. If they can stand on their own, they don't really need all the buffs now, do they? It does have this part where you reduce the crit star weight of Hominidae servants, and that's literally any servant that is like born human. It's different from humanoid. Humanoid is any human shaped servant. Hominidae is like actual humans, because if you look here, it doesn't even list the servants. It just says non-Hominidae, which means non-human, and demonic beast, which is not like, it should be self-explanatory, but these are the servants that got event rate up bonus, which it would make sense that they wouldn't be included. If they got damage mod, why would they be, like, if they got damage mod in the event in Tunguska, why would they be taking an L from this Koyanskaya? Second skill. This, and back to multi-core, Tonal Echo. This part of the skill makes that unit function so much better. The thing about Tonal Echo is that she starts off with her skill on cooldown. She needs to be using her MP in order to bring it back for the third turn. But the issue with that is you need overcharge, otherwise it's not happening. You'll have to reduce cooldown. And Tonal Echo isn't exactly the best servant to be using in Double Vitch Oberon. She actually does more damage with double Oberon than she does double Vitch Oberon because of cooldowns. So keeping that in mind, that even the normal farming strategies doesn't work well with her, use her with Koyanskaya of Dark, and then whoever, and this was brought up by Plushie. I'm not taking credit for this. This is Plushie's idea. Also, go watch Plushie's video on Koyanskaya of Darkness. He'll do a far better job explaining the servant than me. But I do have Tonal Echo MP2, and like being able to do the overcharge and then having the 50% AoE battery for the party ready to go for that final wave. No, like, it doesn't matter how much one person is being roided out if you're still hitting them with 3 like high damage MPs, and especially one of them that applies buster res down. In a full buster team, all your servants are doing more damage. It does have other effects to it. This part being more situational, but it does apply to Koyanskaya herself. It's why she's tanky, 30% attack, 30% defense for all animal characteristic servants. And this is different. This is slightly different. There are Hamididae servants that are on this list. It is anyone that has animal traits in their it's anyone that has animal traits in their like tank graph, and that includes having bunny ears. Don't ask me why, but there is an exception for this, and that is Summer Castoria. She is not on this list, even though she does have like a bunny girl ascension. It's more because it's Alice in Wonderland than actual bunny girl. But I just think it's funny that they excluded Summer Castoria for a reason. And then it has this like little part here where if you do a buster, whoever you target with the overcharge, anytime they do a buster card, you get 5 stars. This isn't a big thing, especially with how prevalent stars are in buster teams. This is almost nothing. Like if they buff this, this needs to be 10. Like even though that sounds proportionally compared to Vitch Light and Darkness, 10% gauge is the same as 5 stars in the grand scheme of things, hitting the max cap. But it functionally it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work out at them being even. It makes this feel worse. Third skill. Sorry. Third skill. It is literally to be able to take advantage of every single kind of anti-dot CE, meaning like Honey Lake and the Jacques CE that came out. Any CE that like you get damage bonus based on if the enemy is afflicted with a curse, curse, poison, or burn, and then also puts the amps on them. It's so you start doing like tickle damage, or not tickle damage. You actually start doing a lot of damage when you face guard, because every time you attack, all attacks will put one of these dots on. So if you do a full Brave Chain, you'll be putting 4 sets of dots, 4 sets of 3. This only is applied when you pop the skill. These are applied every time you attack. So you really can like get the dots like going. Like they will start doing a lot of damage, but only if Koyanskaya of Darkness is soloing. That's the only time you're gonna have as many face cards. And or you're doing esports and you're getting super lucky on card RNG that you're always having a Brave Chain. These kind of dots are really only useful for popping guts, not really doing consistent dot damage. She's not the best for dot teams. But even ignoring like all this part, 3 turns ignore invincibility and 3 turns of 50% crit damage. That alone could be a skill by itself, and it would not be a terrible skill. This means like if you need it, you can put like one of the CEs from Halloween this year that gives you Buster up and Pierce defense. Koyanskaya like cannot be stopped. Her MP might hit like a wet noodle, but her face guard damage hits really hard, especially like when she can like actually ramp up. Passive skills. This is the most important. Existence outside the domain. 2 stars per turn. Debuff resistance. Why is this important? This skill doesn't look like it's that good. It's because Van Gogh synergy. If you do not have existence outside the domain, it has to specifically be this. You can't just be a foreigner like Cuckoo. You have to have existence outside the domain. You work with Van Gogh. Van Gogh's extra buffs work, meaning you get so much goddamn crit damage. Apparently there is a crit damage cap, like how much crit damage a servant can actually get. And if you're running like multiple Van Goghs, like 2 of them, you could probably easily hit that cap with Koyanskaya. That is disgusting. And in those Van Gogh teams, you do not care about like jetting stars. You make so many stars and the enemy literally can't hit you. That speaks more for Van Gogh, but Koyanskaya of Dark is chaotic evil, so she also works with Ashiodoma. Back to here. Wild beast enemies take 20% more damage. I believe this is a power mod because super effective is mostly tied to MPs. Like, you don't get super effective face cards, you get super effective MPs. So this is more likely than not a power mod. It would add into any MP damage you're doing, not multiply with it. And she already has a super effective on her MP, so there's no way they would have done it for you. Art's performance up, good. Debuff 6 success rate, important when she's putting all these dots. It helps fight off the magic resist and have a better chance of actually landing these. And last part, Nega's self. 20% chance to inflict buff block to wild beast enemies. When this happens, it is fucking hilarious. It pretty much only happens in farming, but if it does happen in an actual challenge quest, you will be laughing your ass off that you literally just fucked over an enemy when they're trying to like activate a break bar mechanic that gave a buff that isn't permanent. Like, you completely stop that break bar. It is hilarious, and you just feel so good about yourself that, oh my god, this run's gonna be so clean. You need mana loading if you want to use her in farming. If you want to use her in farming, you're gonna want MP2. Like, I usually stop saying that because I show on stream you don't actually need MP2. It just helps with scaling to hit overkill quicker. Koyanskaya actually needs MP2 if you want to be farming with her, because her MP damage past turn 2, and remember, this is supposed to be type neutral. She's almost never going to be type effective unless you're just fighting berserkers, in which case you can literally use any other farmer, does not have to be a foreigner. She does okay turn 1 damage. I mean, not compared to the alter ego or the berserkers, but that's not fair. She does comparable damage to Bunny Toria. That isn't a good thing, but Bunny Toria is also known for her crit damage. She is barely outdamaged by Summer Abigail. God damn. And then when we go to class neutral, she is matching someone. She's matching Bitch when Bitch uses a super scope. A super scope. And that's ignoring if Bitch is fighting a rider. This is the issue. Her damage is fine, but only against berserkers, which any other servant could do as well. She is supposed to be hitting harder. Like, look at Mao Nobu. Like, just the turn 2 damage, it's not the highest, but it, like, and it works with Spishar too. Like, these damage numbers are better. Like, they are higher than what wave 2 enemies would have. The damage isn't the issue. It's the fact that she's hitting type neutral for most of it. You kind of have to hope that everyone else is a berserker and you can just face card whoever is left standing. Mana loading helps you do your farming, but she's not the best single core farmer. She's way better at multi-core than anything else. As a crit servant, though, I will say, if you're going for MP2, this is what you want. This makes her, like, refund and everything just pop off. And she has the stats. Her attack is low, but again, that can be fixed with ACE, with railing, foes. All that will affect the extra attack damage. She has higher star gen, she has good MP gen, she has good hits. If you unlock this, this is going to be doing a lot of damage, a lot of refund, a lot of star gen. You won't be disappointed, but for the sake of doing lottos and everything, you need this first. If you get this from bond leveling, go for it. But this is your main priority. MP, 20% attack for 1 turn. Damage to all enemies, removes their offensive buffs. Buster res down 20%, activates after damage, lasts for 3 turns, and super effective damage on earth attribute enemies. Based on this effect alone, it should be very telling that you're not supposed to be using her just in normal farming as the main DPS. Like, especially with it not happening after damage. I know it doesn't matter whether this happens before or after damage because it doesn't affect, like, none of these buffs are going to stop you from actually doing damage. But activates first is a bit, activates after damage is a big one. And then this, if you're doing a Buster Brave Chain, this is gonna let you hit way harder. So, where are her main issues coming from? Because she does have 50% attack in her kit. She has 30% Buster and res down in her kit. She has super effective MP damage. Where is she struggling? Well, first off, on this list, it doesn't show if you have super effective or not, because you can't plan whether you're fighting someone super effective unless you actually know everyone in the node. The Buster res down happens after damage. This is a big one too. This should be happening before damage if they want her MP to actually hit hard. And then the third thing, and I'm sorry I didn't talk about this earlier, this is on a 7-turn cooldown. It makes trying to use her with Koyanskaya of Light a lot more annoying because 30% battery, you need Oberon. 7-turn cooldown, you would need Atlas Mystic Code to double pop it. You can't do both at the same time. Unless you're in a fight where Cooldown Reduction or Koyanskayas are dying and you can bring someone in that can cooldown reduce. She's not built for she's not built for single core. That's just how it is. Ascensions, the mats aren't terrible, but I do know I'm hurting for some of these mats right now. These are not, it sucks because like the first ones are like low rarity mats and you do need 3 of them each, and these are a pain point, but at least their drop rates are fairly high. They're not something that's it's not like they put these at the start and these have like or 12% drop rates. Like these have like 40, 50. These have you can't even quantify bones for how easy it is to farm them. Appends, holy shit, this is egregious. This is holy shit. This is showing Koyanskaya's personality. You have to like literally walk over burning coal to level her up, and then she's just gonna smile and tell you to go do it some more. Like, this is probably one of the hungriest servants like in the game, like just strictly for appends. You need, this is the amount of mats you need for like a whole servant, and she needs it just on an append. Like, holy shit. You like, Koyanskaya is like, where's my buddy? That's why she has Plushie's wallet in her new CE on JP. Like, if you look in the background in her purse, you can see Plushie's wallet and soul. Bond CE. 10% Buster to the party, 10% attack to animal characteristic servants. I really like this servant. I have such fond memories of this servant. But with the lack of buff and then Reigns coming out almost immediately after, she is right around the corner tomorrow, I have to say this servant is wait and see. She doesn't even get that many rate-ups either. If you want a really good one, look to your friends list, because you have to invest so much in this character to make her good. So much. or like to make her really shine, you need high investment. And even then, you're gonna be disappointed sometimes. Plushie showed it off pretty well. She was not able to single core a 90++ when it was a level 120 2k foe MP5 Koyanskaya of Darkness. Plushie failed to run because of RNG. She just didn't kill. Not on turn 2. It is a big pain point. She needs to have a higher damage spike a little earlier. A good strat would actually be like if they buff the MP, either reduce cooldown, which I honestly, because I said the same thing about Summer Abigail, but if they do buff her MP and make it so she reduces all her cooldowns by 1, and like this procs first, her damage actually will spike super high, because instead of you popping the buster buff again on this turn, you be popping it in this turn, and then instead of not popping the buster buff like again, you would be popping it on this turn, and if you do get buster res down, all the damage would go up. So this is a Tamamo, so that actually isn't outside of the realm of possibility. That would fix a lot of her stuff, her issues. It would make her good at MultiCore, and it would also, if it's an AoE cooldown reduction, I think that actually would be a really sick buff for her. I think that's the buff she actually needs, and would reduce needing to buff her further, and also make her like more self-sufficient, that she does not need bitch light. It would just make her even better in Van Gogh team, honestly. So yeah, Koyanskaya of Darkness, she is a good servant. The game just isn't at the point where you would need her. MultiCore isn't a thing yet, not commonly in farming at least. Most people just do double support, plug suit, whatever. But I like this servant. They are fun. It's just this is not a wife from Tamamo for me. Sorry, not sorry. I like my balls where they are. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.